everyone, this is Jim at Pokemon. This is me in the flesh on a YouTube video. So we have a few very, very special guests with us today, Jesse, Craig, and Anthony as well. I thought this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So here we are in video in the flesh. And first, I'd like to just, Jesse Craig's with PWCC, one of the premier auction houses that's done business for a number of years. I think it's 20 plus years at this point, and some of the top sales. And they have some of the most depth when it comes to the market. And I've done business with PWCC for quite some time. I have nothing but good things to say about them. They've always treated me well, resolved every issue that's ever come up. And it's generally made collecting more enjoyable as a collector. And so having the opportunity to speak with Jesse today about PWCC, I thought was something that was worth sharing with you guys in the community. And so, this is something that I think will be very, very key for everyone to hear and just get familiar with PWCC in general. So Jesse, if you don't mind, just giving a brief, just sort of background about yourself, your sort of collecting history, what your role is at PWCC, and then we just introduce you to the group here.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. I'm happy to be here. So my history in the market, I was in the market, I worked for a dealer up until, from about 2010, 2014. And then I actually got into real estate for a handful of years, and PWCC had moved from the Bay Area up to my hometown of Portland, Oregon, back in 2016. And, after they were here for a couple of years, I had conversations with Brent, the owner, and he convinced me to get out of real estate and come back into the industry because of all the growth he saw happening. That was just after we had built the vault that's in the center of our facility, and so the trajectory that the market was on for trading cards as a whole, it led me to leave a successful real estate career and come back into the market. So personally, I don't collect much. Because it's kind of a conflict of interest for me.
Right.
So I collect some lesser expensive things, and honestly, my most the most quantity I have and value I have in total is probably Fortnite cards, because my kids love them. So I actually have quite a few Fortnite cards, but my focus more is the sports aspect of it. I'm a little bit of a novice when it comes to some of the gaming stuff, but we have experts on staff to handle all that.
Right. I think one of the experts, Peter, is it
Petapod.
Petapod, yeah.
Yep. Great guy.
Quite a bit. He's a great guy, and we always kind of go back and forth on market trends and where we think things are going and all that. So I can't believe you left successful real estate for trading cards. It almost solidifies it as that alternative asset.
Well, and that's how we always talk, right? So we've always looked at trading cards, and we're the first people to really speak that way as an investment medium. So we focused as a company on creating different infrastructure to help support that and help push the market forward. And so, Brent made a good pitch to me, and he got me to leave real estate.
Right. And just so we kind of close the loop here, Anthony, who's with us as well, kind of helped connect the two of us to host this interview today. Anthony, I don't know if you want to say hello to anyone here, but I figure I'd like to introduce you as well.
Thanks so much. Hi, my name's Anthony. I kind of facilitated this interview and looking forward to hearing the conversation.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you. So I think that there's a few different parties when you think about PWCC as a whole. There are people who bought from PWCC for years and years, know it inside and out. And then there's people who may have bought a card on eBay from PWCC and never even known it was PWCC or who you guys are or what that may mean. And so as many of you may or may not know, PWCC used to sell cards on eBay and at a large capacity. We're talking tens of thousands of cards every month, if not more. And recently, PWCC created their own platform to where they're no longer selling on eBay. They're going to be selling on their own platform itself. And so if you only search on eBay, you wouldn't necessarily come across a lot of the cards that are listed. And I believe we have around 8,000 or so Pokemon cards specifically for this October auction. So with that context right there, do you mind just kind of briefly explaining what PWCC is, the services, sort of the pro collector mentality, and anyone who may not be familiar with you, how they can get a little bit more familiar with PWCC as a company?
Yeah, so all the information you probably need is on our website. It's just pwccmarketplace.com. But I talked a little bit about the infrastructure that we built to support collectors and investors, and that's really what we focus on. So we have a vault in the center of our building. It is a Class 3 UL rated vault. So we have over, I think we're almost close to 400,000 graded trading cards right now in the vault. So we digitally archive all that. So as an owner or collector, you can send it all, have it professionally stored, and it's all digitally archived. So you log into your account and you can view everything. And from there, we have all of the liquidity options. So you can send it to our premier auction if it's over $25,000. You can sell it fixed price on our fixed price marketplace. So you determine the asking price, and then you can set an auto decline, and then you'll get an email with just numbers. It's not any of the eBay back and forth that you have to deal with, right? From someone messaging you. It's just strictly numbers, dollars and cents. And then you can also send it to what is new is our monthly auction that just launched a few days ago, and that's on our own platform. And we're doing it a little bit differently. So we used to predominantly sell everything on eBay, and now we have our own platform. It's our own software. And on eBay, things used to end at, like, let's say 7:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's done. As a buyer, you don't get what we call extended bidding, that extra time to be able to kind of like change your mind and throw another bid in there, right? So we've created a platform where we actually have extended bidding, not only on expensive stuff, but on the less expensive stuff as well. So any card, $20 card, $100 card, $500 card, you get the opportunity to keep bidding until you want to be done, instead of having to just do a hard close.
Right. I think, when I first heard of that, I think we're used to kind of the most auction houses having some sort of extended bidding, and eBay never had that. And then when I heard that PWCC with 8,000 auctions is going to have extended bidding, I think a lot of collectors, our minds start turning. It's like, well, how is this going to work? Or, I can't watch 8,000 items. And, if you're like me, I might bid on 100 items and expect to win 5 or 10. And it's really challenging. So I think one of the things I kind of told myself, and I think I actually heard this from Peter, then maybe it came directly from you, is, and tell me if I'm explaining this wrong, is, there are a lot of buyers that maybe for the October auction, let's say you have $100 to spend, and that's all you want to spend, and maybe there's 10 cards you want. Well, if there's one card that kind of goes over that $100 mark, you might take that money you had and you might put it towards another auction. So the reason extended bidding is extremely valuable is it lets you maybe participate in an auction that ended way earlier in the night that you missed, that you can't necessarily go back to. With extended bidding, it really guarantees that you're going to get the card you want for the price that you want. And when you get outbid, you can let things go and still have the opportunity to buy things that you were originally looking at. Does that sound really on par with what you guys?
Yeah. And it is an interesting dynamic to try to close 8,000 cards in one night, right? So to get into the weeds a little bit, you have to bid on that card that you want, or those 10 cards you want, individually before 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, the night that card closes, to be able to bid on those cards in extended bidding. So it encourages people to, get your bids in early, make sure you qualify for extended bidding. But we have these bidding windows where it's like from 7 to 7:30. If a card doesn't get a bid in that window, then the high bidder wins, and that card's going to close and it's going to be done. But then, the windows get shorter and shorter and shorter. But if a card does get a bid in that window, it only has to get one bid, it qualifies for the next window. So, you could have 8,000 cards and maybe 1,500 of them don't get a bid in the first window and they're maxed out. Okay, well, those aren't going to move on to the next window. So then from 7:30 to 7:35, you have a shorter window, right? So now it's a 5-minute window, and a card has to get a bid in that window to move on to the next 5-minute window. So, the windows get shorter and shorter. It's a 30-minute window from 7 to 7:30, and then you have 7:30 to 7:35, 7:35 to 7:40, all the way to 8 o'clock. So 5-minute windows all the way to 8 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock you get down to 1 minute. So even for a card to make it to 8 o'clock, it would have to get 7 bids on that actual item in extended bidding to make it to 8 o'clock, and then it gets fast-paced and shorter. So that's how we're actually able to close out the auction faster than anybody else. And the software we've created is patent pending because it's so unique and so different that we figured we might as well patent it.
I mean, to me, this just sounds so cool. And it's a unique sort of take on the market. I think at first, you got to really kind of train yourself and, make sure, hey, you get that bid in early. And I was talking to a few friends. It's like, if there's a few cards I really want, why not go and bid it up to what I think market price is and try to limit the amount of bidders I'm going to be bidding against? See if you can lock in that card you really want.
That's a fair strategy. And what I tell people too is, like, if you're bidding on, let's say 10 plus, 15 plus, 20, 100 items, right? There's going to be a pinch point at some part of this extended bidding where you're going to feel like, holy crap, like this is getting crazy. So I would encourage people, whatever you're willing to pay on a lot of the cards that are more like those commodities that, there's comps for them, what they're worth, get those max bids in fairly early. before extended bidding. So when it gets into extended bidding, you don't have to think about that card so much, and you can really focus on maybe the cards that you like really care about and want to go after, that maybe are more rare and unique, and that can take your attention in the extended bidding. But you've got the commodities dialed in, you've got those max bids in, and you're good to go.
So let's dive into this a little bit deeper here. So a lot of times when you place a max bid, whatever that bid may be, it's only going to be whatever the second highest bid is, one increment above that. Is that correct?
Yeah, totally. And to be clear too, from a security perspective, so we've hired a company called TechHeads to firewall off all max bids. So no PWCC employee, affiliate, contractor has any visibility to any max bid. So if a card's sitting at $100 and you put in a max bid of 500, based on the bidding increments, I think it'll put it at like 110. But nobody can see your $500 bid. We have another cybersecurity company called Triaxiom who's verifying that process that TechHeads is doing is legit and what they say it is, and they're actually going to publish a report on our website every month to verify it.
Audit the auditors. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Full scope. So
That's
I think,
right.
you know, if you kind of take all those topics we just sort of wrapped into one, I think the reason it's really important is that you guys are doing a lot around buyer assurances and making sure the buyers are legit, that you're not going to get outbid. And, you know, I tell you today, almost any eBay auction, I'm not placing my bid until I see 3 or 2 seconds left, because I know if I shoot up, someone may try to outbid me or get my max or real what it is. And I don't know if they're a legit buyer. So a lot of times I feel like if there's a card people know I want, they're trying to, you know, maybe push the market up or see what I'm willing to pay, you know, especially if my username pops up. So I think one of the differences here is because you assure that basically you've done your research on the buyer, you know that they're a valid buyer that can participate and they don't have a negative history with you, that whatever max bid I place, if it goes up, it's against a legitimate bid, which I think as a buyer gives me a little bit more confidence. So if you can just kind of dive into that buyer assurance piece and kind of making sure you know buyer's remorse or bid retractions or things that might like negatively influence a bid where it's not doesn't have the integrity that you want.
Yeah. So first things first. So we're vetting everybody. You have to go through email, phone verification. We can track IP addresses now. So if someone misbehaves, not only can we block that account, but we know where they're coming from. We can block that IP address, right? We don't allow bid retractions. If you win something, you don't pay for it, you're blocked. I mean, these are the things that we have full control over now, which we didn't on eBay. We did to an extent, but we didn't have full visibility of all the things that we have now on our own platform. So yes, that is buyer assurance that like your bids are legit, bids against you are legit. That's all things that we care about. We have algorithms that flag any like bidding abnormalities. So these are all things that we put in place to try to protect the auctions. And look, unpaids are a huge problem on eBay too, right? Returns are a huge problem on eBay. Well, we've seen it all, we've been through it all. And so, we're able to navigate that more than we ever were on eBay. And look, to be honest, like it's going to get better and better. It's not going to be perfect out the gate, right? On our new platform, somebody might have a legit email, have a legit phone number, and they might act inappropriately. Well, guess what? They're going to be done with us. So it's gonna just get better and better over time. But we control the whole process, so we can't point at anybody but ourselves now. And we're really excited about what we've built.
It's music to my ears, and a lot of us sort of the Pokemon community, we'd see a big sale or we'd see something, and we'd almost always wait until it went to the sold listings so we could see the PWCs are marked as sold. And so if you guys aren't familiar, there's a section of PWCC called market research where you can go through and you can literally see all the sold listings that are on your site, and you guys don't put them there until the payment comes through.
Correct.
And essentially, since everything's fully insured through you guys, it means the sale, it's not going to be reversed. It is what it is. Right.
We don't post any sales on our website that haven't actually been paid for. So, and that's, people say, oh, there's no way that's possible. It's like, well, ask any of our sellers who's had an item go unpaid, because it on eBay happened quite frequently, but ask them if they've ever seen a card go up on the market price research tool, and nobody can say they have, because it doesn't happen. So we put only legitimate sales on our market price research page, which right now we actually don't have it live and updated because we're totally revamping the UI for that and the look and feel. So that's coming in the next few weeks, and that'll be all done. But we're very, very excited for how that's going to look, and to be able to provide all that data to everybody that's been missing it because we haven't been on eBay for the last couple of months.
Yeah. Well, I have a challenge for you. Would you guys be willing to post eBay unpaids versus PWCC platform unpaids? Just the difference?
Oh, like the percent, we could do like the percentage difference. Yeah. I mean, it got up to about 10% the last month we were on eBay. I mean, it's crazy. And for those people who bought from us too, they know the collections process that we go through. They know like how often we email, we call, you know, we go through a long process over weeks to try to get all these things paid for. So even through all those efforts, there's still almost 10% that wasn't getting paid on eBay. And I guarantee you that's going to be lower on our platform.
I think one of the biggest things was the biggest events last year. You know, with Pokemon, we've always had these sort of waves of events. You know, you kind of had Pokemon Go, and then you had the movie that came out, and you know, even Logan Paul's thing like that. That's a huge event in our community. And basically, you know, he had the live stream of 350,000 people, and really what it did is it brought a lot of people who didn't use eBay, who didn't collect Pokemon, into the hobby, and they were buying things on eBay, and they're like, oh man, I spent $50. I don't have $50 to spend. And so you get all these, you know, buyer's remorse emails or unpaid or this or that. And so almost everyone who's been in the hobby for at least a couple of years, last year just had a really negative experience when it came to just new buyers on eBay and in general. So I think the hope here is with you guys validating everyone. You know, everyone gets a chance, everyone gets a shot. You know, hop in a bit with you guys. You guys really basically assure that if I send an item to sale, I will get paid for it. And if I don't, it'll be a very, very rare occurrence and probably more heavily weighted on the front end of the process versus, you know, the longevity down the road.
Totally. Yeah. I'd say 100%. And like us controlling the entire process is just, that's the most important thing. But you're right. It will get better over time. And, you know, now that we can vet every buyer, put all those processes and procedures in place, it's going to clean up a lot.
So I think one of the most important things for most people when they participate in a market is just transparency and clarity and really understanding kind of, you know, if there's a data point to reveal. And I think a lot of very high-end sales, you know, they're mostly private. I think, you know, there's even you guys sort of have a private concierge service where you kind of link buyers and sellers when they're looking for very, very top-tier items. And you kind of mentioned that the fixed price, you know, sold listings aren't quite up to date. Do you mind revealing a date when you expect kind of all that to be cleaned up, or maybe November, December, or when we'd actually go see the full sort of spectrum of any PWCC activity, what the actual true price is?
Yep. So if that's not all done by mid-November, I'll be upset.
Okay.
So right now it's just a dev thing on our dev team. You know, it's kind of all hands on deck with the monthly auction that we rolled out because we rolled it out so quickly. You know, we got it out in less than 2 months, which is, I think, pretty impressive to launch a new platform. So they've been busting their butt to get that all done. And one of those things on their radar, though, like I said, is updating that market price research tool is going to be just PWCC sales history. That'll include fixed price, premier auction, monthly auction, all that. Now, private sales are different because it's up to the buyer and seller to want to disclose that number. And if they do, great. Sometimes it's advantageous to do that. Sometimes it's not. So it really depends on the transaction for that to be a public sale. But everything else will definitely be public on our website within the coming weeks.
Yeah, I've thought about there's a guy that's helped me out quite a bit since I've been there. It's like, you know, send them all a pizza party or something. It's like, you know, they've been working around the clock since August or so. And I commend you guys for pulling out that whole marketplace. I mean, it's incredible.
Thank you.
And I think it's safe to say that even with what we've seen so far, it's probably the smoothest platform with no hiccups, interruptions. So
good.
I've been very impressed with it from what I've seen. Now, why don't we kind of talk a little bit like bidding strategy and maybe some things you guys have talked about internally. And let's say, you know, for me, I want to collect like a non-hollow set of Team Rocket first issue PSA 10. Let's say someone sends, you know, 60 of those cards and they're all ending, you know, at the same time. And I want to bid on all those cards. What would be like the best strategy if I wanted to literally look at 60 auctions ending at once for, let's say, this goal I want to achieve? Is I think you kind of highlight a little early, get the bids in early. But let's say I want to watch sort of an abnormal amount of auctions end at once. I think that might be a really hard challenge when they're all kind of at the same time.
Totally, yeah. So, you know, you can favorite, like, if you want to participate in buying all of them, obviously you're going to need to bid on them all before 7 o'clock, right?
Right.
So if you want to buy all 60 items, you know, that's going to be a big quantity, and I can guarantee you, once it goes from 7:30 to the window goes from 30 minutes to 5 minutes, that's going to be the pinch point where you're like, oh man, this is wild trying to bid on 60 cards in a 5-minute window. Now, what's nice about our software is it's going to tell you if someone else bid on that item. Right. So if you're the high bidder, then you don't need to worry about it, right? Like, it's fine, just leave it. But if you get outbid, Well, now that's like, oh, you might need to have an action item to go bid on that to get it to go to the next window. But it'll also tell you if someone else bid on it, so that if it's automatically going to move to the next window, you can ignore it for now and wait till the next window opens. So bidding strategy on that, I would say, once again, if it's a commodity and if there's like recent comps and you roughly know what it's worth, put in what you're willing to pay on some of those. If there haven't been as many recent sales on certain items, then those are the ones that you probably want to focus more on being active with. But just put in your max bid and roll with it.
So is it gonna be like a push notification on my phone? Am I gonna like look at my phone and see like, 30 things, get, hey, bid, or, a strategy I've done in the past with eBay is I'll have like a bunch of little windows on my screen and kind of, tab through them or control shift through them, or you said it's going to be an email and a push notification?
Yeah, you'll get outbid notifications, but also when you're logged in under your account, I mean, you'll be able to see everything that you're bidding on and all the activity. So that's the main screen that you're going to want to look at when you're bidding, so you can follow along, like what am I high bid on, what am I outbid on, and I believe you can organize them however you want. Like if you want to put highest, high bidder first or outbid first, so you can kind of have a clean view of what you need to participate on. And those little notifications are going to be popping up on each line item if it gets a bid, so you're going to know where that item stands. It's going to be fast paced and it's going to be fun. So we basically made an event out of a night of Pokemon. Yeah.
So of let's say the 8,000 so Pokemon items, what percentage do you think will get a bid in that first 30-minute window? Do you guys have any estimates around? You think it'll be 80% of the items get a bid, or?
I think it'll be high. I think it'll be a high percentage. I think people are still trying to get familiar with the software a little bit. I expect quite a few bids to come in the day that they're closing for people to qualify for extended bidding. I think that's where we're going to see the most movement. But yeah, I would say that I think a high percentage of the cards are going to get a bid in the first window for sure.
Okay. And then let's kind of start from the top. Let's say you're someone who, I know we're kind of into this interview a little bit. Let's say, you're new to PWCC, you find out about it the day of the event, and, like how quick of a process would it be for me just to sign up on your website, give you all the information to approve me or vet me or whoever I may be, and then also to place a bid, and then also kind of talk through once they're registered, what are necessarily the options for payment and the flexibility there.
Totally. So to register is minutes. I mean, you get on there, you put your name, your address. We need to verify your email and your phone. That's part of our verification process. So you'll get a text code to verify like you're a real person. And phones are also hard. Phone numbers, most people only have, they have one phone number, right? So that's a way that people aren't creating multiple accounts and doing anything nefarious. So signing up is simple. Placing a bid is very easy. Once you go through the verification process, you can place bids. And then paying for items, it's credit card, it's ACH, wire. We take crypto as well. We take 10 different kinds of cryptocurrency, and those are all listed on our website. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about paying. We even take the old school check.
I think I've sent you guys checks from my bank before. I say, hey, just send them a check, because the bank will sometimes do it for free, and so you have to worry about it. Now, do you accept things like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, some of those items?
You can pay, I think, via credit card through PayPal, just like you can anywhere else. But we don't allow people to use like their PayPal balance or those kind of things. But if you sell stuff through us as well, you can keep that money on account, and you can use that money to pay for purchases as well.
Yeah, I always use a credit card to get the points, but I think another big sort of component there is crypto. It's very odd how when crypto trends up, sales trend up in the hobby. So there's quite a few people out there that'll say, hey, crypto's up, come buy some cards, or I've got a box for sale. Ethereum's up today or Bitcoin's up today. So you can pay through crypto for the monthly auction, correct?
Correct. Yes, you can do that. And look, crypto's on a good run right now. So we'll see what happens.
Are you guys cashing out immediately, or are you guys
we don't play the crypto game. It's look, we get our money out and we keep going.
I don't blame you there, but I think it's incredibly easy from a buyer perspective, because you hop in, you create an account, you can buy a card. The payment options are pretty wide when you include crypto in that as well. And I think after you purchase that card, and this applies a lot more for international people, we're going to get into here, is one thing that really surprised me when I got into the hobby, sort of, more at a professional level, like 2012, 2013, was that the people who are interested in Pokemon, it's not all in the Midwest. It's not all in the United States. It's really just spread across the world, almost in a very even sort of stance. It's like the people whose minds sort of are that, collector mentality, or a little addicted, but not too crazy. It really kind of spreads evenly. So it's like, you have people from Australia, you have people from Africa, India, Europe, almost everywhere, who are all these little pockets and social groups. They create the groups for themselves. And so, one of the things you guys have always been extremely flexible with is international buyers. And I think a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is for someone internationally to buy something overseas. They get taxed. They have all these sort of things that come through. And so do you mind just kind of talking about the ease of process when it comes to international buyer participating, and maybe a few options they have when it comes time to, where to send the card?
Yeah. So, being the largest auction seller on eBay for a long time, we feel like we've captured a lot of the international market and the daily buyers and sellers on eBay, right? So we have a ton of experience with international clients. And a huge advantage that we actually have is our vault. So as an international client, look, we do declare things to their normal value. We have to play it the right way. But what you can do is you can actually just send it to your vault. So there's no shipping fees, there's no customs fees, none of that. It just goes straight into your vault account. You get a digital archival of it. And then if you ever want to fulfill it out and send it to yourself, you can do that. But especially in the short term, it's much less expensive to just keep it in the vault. And then it's in the States. If you want to sell it in the States, it's still here, right? You don't have to worry about it getting lost overseas or anything like that, because we know horror stories with shipping internationally. So it's a great tool. The vault is really for international clients to utilize that and leave stuff here.
Yeah, the vault is something I've used almost exclusively for over a year now, and I'm in a state with high sales tax, and so if I were to buy something domestically, ship it to the vault, there's really no sales tax, and the intake fee for the vault's so low, and you guys I think have unlimited vault submissions right now too.
Free vault. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people may not know this, but if I basically buy anything that's over $250 or $300, I'll always send it to the vault. And sometimes the lower value cards I'd rather just keep and pay the tax on. But it's just been a service that is extremely easy to use. And I think sort of my personal philosophy for those that are at home that are maybe the collector, that I think one of the hardest questions to use the vault is you can't hold the card, you can't see it. And there's this huge sort of just aspect of wanting to appreciate sort of what you've bought or that piece. Is almost every card I send to the vault is something that I intend to hold short term, maybe 3 to 5 years. It's something that I intend to get back out to the market at some point. The cards that I send there, maybe eBay purchases that are collection keeps that I want to keep forever. I'll get those shipped back to me maybe once every 6 months or once a year. But if you want to hold on to something long term, you don't want to put yourself in a position to necessarily give it up pretty easily. So it's easy to hit that sell button in the vault. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know. Once it's all digital archived, it's just a click of a button. And that's the beauty of it, though, is from anywhere in the world, you can send that item to auction. You can put it up for a fixed price, buy now, best offer. So you have full flexibility with your inventory because it's all digital.
Yeah, it is so easy to use. And I think you guys had a tagline one time. It's like pro collector, or it's something along the lines of, thinking of the collector first, or what does the collector want? And it's like every time I go through certain things, I may not necessarily understand some of the decisions that you guys have made, but when I talk to Peter, I talk to anyone else, they kind of talk through why it's a pro collector mentality. And it all makes more sense the more you dive into it. So I know there's a lot of things you guys have done, not to get into the weeds, but the private bidder thing that I was on eBay. You go through, and I heard you in a podcast once I talked through that, and it was all along the lines of, you can connect the eBay IDs. And I'll let you kind of speak to that here. I don't want to speak for you on that, but it's being this very pro collector decision.
Yeah. So what people don't know, so when you're a user on our website and you sell something, we ask for your eBay ID, and that's actually how we were able to recognize bidders that were bidding on their own items and kicking them off the platform, right? So it was we said it was to make it easier to do invoicing and all this kind of stuff, but really behind the scenes, we wanted to make sure that people weren't bidding on their own stuff. And then the private bidder, moving to private bidding on eBay was, look, we can't control everything that happens. And we would get inundated with emails, chats with people saying, oh, this item's being showbid. It's like a $20 card. Like this item's being showbid. And we couldn't keep up. And also buyer, like you talked about, people can see your little eBay, your username, and they can tell it's you, right? And sometimes you don't like that. That's why you bid at the last second. Well, buyer anonymity is an important thing in this market. And that, outside of eBay, no other auction house do you know who's bidding on anything. Right. So it's like, look, either you trust us or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine. But it doesn't do us any good to have items shill bid, have them not paid. Like that creates a headache for us. We look bad to our consignor. It creates more work for our team. And it's a lose-lose situation. So we made the decision to go private listing to kind of eliminate a lot of that stuff. And that's the decision. That's why we made the decision.
And I'll give you a personal story here, which kind of adds, some more validity to it. Is, sometimes I might buy 10 or 15 things in a PWCC auction, and I might reveal one of those to someone out there, and the other like 10 or so might be part of a goal I'm still working on, or I don't necessarily want to talk about it, or people know you're chasing something, it gets a little more competitive. And so I actually had people, over the last couple of years, they would tell me what else I bought from PWCC through looking at my eBay ID. And they can see, I have a number that's I guess a little bit more unique than others. And they can tell me everything I bought. They go, I know, I saw you bought that. I'm like, I wasn't really planning to tell anyone I bought that. You want to keep quiet for a little bit. But usually, if I ever tend to keep something for my collection or resell it, I kind of have this 6-month rule. I like to keep everything for at least 6 months. I don't want to, you get into flipping, you lose on transactional costs. But
sure,
for a little bit, you can kind of let the market swing a little bit in either direction.
Yep. And then it's a timing game, right? Totally.
Yeah. So I think we spent a lot of time on the buyer piece and kind of getting into the auction and kind of seeing things and a little bit of bidding strategy. And, I'd certainly probably spend more time on the list and look through that. But I do want to kind of talk about the sellers piece a little bit as well, too. And so, let's say you're new to PWCC, you're getting familiar with you guys, and you guys have that long-standing history. And let's say that you want to send a big car off the auction. You're a little nervous because maybe don't necessarily know PWCC as a company. So can you kind of talk through that process, or any sort of positive reinforcement you give someone who may be a little unsure of sending you guys something high value that they've had for a number of years?
Yeah, well, I mean, Pokemon specifically, we do more dollars and quantity than anybody in Pokemon cards in the world. Right. We have a huge Pokemon following, and I think it's 8,000 cards this month or so, right? Just Pokemon. And so, over the last, couple of years, we've really gathered a huge following in the Pokemon community. We've had some record-breaking sales, but also we get a lot of the quantity, a lot of the good quality Pokemon cards from all years. So we have buyers from everywhere. As a seller, you want that, right? We have a lot of experience internationally, which you want. And like I mentioned before, we've been on eBay for so long, we feel like we've gathered the majority of that marketplace. Like if you're going to buy a card on eBay, you probably bought a card from us. It's just, that's just the nature of it, right? So, our platform is new, it's unique, but it's exciting, and we have the following that we think it's going to be a huge success.
That's amazing. So when you think about someone who's selling a card, your goal is obviously to get the maximum price you can, or you want to sell it for at least market, if not, if the market's trying to get that, whatever that might be. And a lot of times auctions will sort of force people to put their high bid in, or they'll force someone to commit to something. And one of the biggest challenges with an auction is having all the right people with their eyes on it. And so, since you guys sort of come off eBay, and eBay being one of the top sites in the world for traffic, sort of what's y'all's response to try to get more audience to the site to make sure you do have all the right bidders and bidding on specific options?
Yeah. So we're all the money that we're saving not being on eBay, that's getting rolled into marketing. So our marketing budget is like 5x, 10x what it is normally. It's the biggest marketing budget we've ever had. So we're doing a lot of SEO, a lot of paid ads, a lot of social. We're partnering with a lot of other companies that through affiliate programs to drive traffic to the website. And that's on top of our already existing user base from 20 years on eBay. So we're putting a lot of money behind driving traffic to the site because, look, we built it. We spent all this time and energy to build it. We want it to be a success. And so we know the eyeballs need to be there to do it. And we're putting our money where our mouth is, and we're spending to get that to happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of the higher tier items, if you have that person that's looking for it, they're going to find you. You find all sort of the obscure auction sites, and you kind of find where your card is. But I think, what a lot of people, including myself, are struggling with are those non-blue chip items. Mm-hmm. Those items that might go between $50 and let's say $250, which may be more of a commodity per se. And it almost seems like, that random guy on eBay, it's like, oh, I like that Jigglypuff. Maybe I'll throw it a bid in. And he doesn't know the auction history, the price history. He just likes the card, and it's that sort of organic traffic that I think sort of pulls up the lower end. And I think what we've seen with a lot of times with auction houses is the lower end sort of gets missed. The high end gets advertised, the high end gets attention, the high end gets impressions, but the lower end, you got to have the traffic to sort of get those prices.
Totally. And we feel like we've gathered the majority of that, to be honest with you. And like I said, we're doing customized paid ads for any specific card that people look for on eBay. So whether it's a $50 card or $5,000 card, right? Like there's paid ads for all that kind of stuff. So we're really catering it around what people look for, what they search for. And the hope is, and the goal is to have those drive traffic to, you're right, the $50 to $200 items. Yeah.
So really those targeted paid ads, that's the main response to getting those items that tier sort of elevated.
Yeah, that's a big way to get that done. And our affiliate programs, having people that in the Pokemon community be a part of our affiliate program to help drive traffic to the website, and our existing user base, SEO, all those things, social, it'll all drive traffic. And look, when it's all said and done, there might be some deals. I've heard people say they think there's going to be some deals being our first auction. And if that's the case, then get in there and get your bids in, right? Like, but there's also going to be probably some records, so I'm sure it'll be a mixed bag, but we're really excited to see it shake out.
Yeah. Man, wheels are turning. So, I don't necessarily want to dive too much into the PWCC capital piece, but just kind of personal story here. I've sent you guys a lot of cards, because what if that gem or that holy grail shows up and maybe you don't have all the cash you need to purchase that piece? Do you want to talk briefly just about leveraging off the vault and kind of the liquidity that you give the market specifically?
Yeah. So another thing we have that I didn't even really discuss is we do lend on cards as collateral. So if you have let's say you have a $50,000 portfolio of Pokemon cards, well, you can send those into your vault, and then you'll have access to up to 40% of market value of that portfolio. And they're 3-month terms. It's a point a month. And so you can buy that grail that comes along that you've been looking for, and you can leverage your portfolio to do so. So the beauty of this is it's not a pawn shop, right? If you ever default, we're not going to sell your stuff and pay off the loan and keep the proceeds. That's not how it works. We would pay off the loan if ever need be, and then you get the remainder. We'd sell enough to satisfy the loan, and that's it. And we'd work with you on it. So it's a great program. I think we have roughly $25 or $30 million out in loans right now on assets in our vault. From sports cards to Pokemon to Magic the Gathering to everything. So yeah, it's a great program. There's a lot of people that have used that leverage to be successful over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, in full disclosure, I've utilized those services before too, and so I do have enough cards sort of in the vault that if that grail did pop up, I don't necessarily have to worry about, I need to go get a bank loan, or I need to go do this or that, or the worst position you ever want to be in as a collector is being forced to sell something.
Totally.
So a lot of times, if you have that liquidity and you can lock something in, you can kind of pick and choose what you want to send to auction, or kind of time the market a little bit. And so I think that liquidity piece, it almost lets you sort of, sit back, and you don't have to have, $50,000 in the bank. You can kind of wait until it pops up, and then, sort of adjust your portfolio as need be. But,
exactly.
It's probably been one of my favorite parts of sort of the whole sort of cycle of products that you guys offer. So
cool.
why don't we circle back to the seller piece? And I think a lot of times when people send a card in, let's say, today is, let's say today's the first of the month, and I send a card into you guys for the monthly auction. Like, when would I expect to be paid, or when can I actually see that cash, or when can I actually use that cash, or
sure.
Can you talk about that?
Good question. Yeah. So the way our auction, so the cutoff for qualifying for each monthly auction is the 15th of the prior month. Now, you can send cards in between the 15th and the 30th. At that point, it's best efforts to get those into the main sections that we have. So we have what's called our final, it used to be round 2 on eBay, right? Now it's called final round. But if cards get, depending on what it is and when it's supposed to launch and quantity we have, if you send it in between the 15th and the 30th, it might not make the main like gaming or Pokemon round. It might go into the final round. But we still do take cards in pre the 30th, and they do make the auction. And then payouts are generally, it used to be the 15th of the following month. So it's about a 45 to 60-day cycle, depending on when the cards get in. And I believe we're still staying hold to, like, we're going to take a couple weeks to go through our collections process and get those things all paid for. So around middle of the next month is when you should expect the payout for that to happen. And you can choose how you get paid out, right? You can leave it on account. You can do ACH, wire, check, whatever you want.
Okay, so is the payout getting pushed back a little bit because you guys give more time to pay?
Yeah, we do give some time, and we will probably be doing. So what we do for Premier Auction right now is we have 2 payouts. So if something gets paid for earlier, we have a date. It's roughly a week and a half, 2 weeks after the auction where they get paid out. And then anything that's not paid for, we have another week and a half to 2 weeks to try to finalize those, go through the collections process, get those paid, and then we do a final payout on that as well. So it's going to mirror that.
So, long story short, if I were to send a car, let's say October 1st, it's going to be in the November auction. If I send it after October 15th, it may still be the November auction, but I could always pick December if I wanted to.
Correct.
Let's say it's in that November auction, I would get paid out mid-December.
Correct.
So you think that 45
exactly.
to 60 window.
Exactly.
Now, are the payouts still in blocks? Or let's say I sell a car and the buyer pays right away. Would I get paid sooner, or do I still have to wait for that payout day?
Not right now for the monthly auction. We have that because we close the auctions as a whole, right? It's like a big group. But for fixed price, that is how it works. There's a certain timing behind it, depending on if it goes to the vault or if it gets shipped. It's just, verification, and, returns were a big problem on eBay as well. So that's one of the things that, we have full control over now as well to try to limit the returns, because we've heard it all. We've heard every excuse. We know it's legit. We know it's not. And it used to be a battle sometimes with eBay about returns, even with how big we were on eBay, but we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Do you have any other sort of tips or advice for sellers who may want to participate in an upcoming auction?
Totally, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my advice is I would put my portfolio in the vault. That's what I would do. Anything that you didn't want to, look, some people want to touch and feel and hold their cards, totally get it. But if it was me, you never know when all of a sudden you see a sale that happens and you go, oh, now it's time to sell. Well, if it's in the vault, it's ready to roll. It's already digitally archived. You can click of a button, send it to auction. You don't have to ship it. So if it was me, I would just get it all in the vault, and then you digitally have the flexibility. I mean, you could be on vacation. I see some palm trees in the background, right? You could be by a pool somewhere sunny, and you could boom, send something to auction right there from wherever you are in the world.
Right. I definitely took advantage of that. I saw a few sort of big sales on a few cards, and I took one of my cards and I listed about double what I thought it was worth. And I was like, hey, someone wants to come in and buy these up. I might as well take advantage too,
Yep, exactly.
It's like, I don't mind helping those people make those decisions. No, that's really good advice. Let me think here. Any general sort of advice for anyone just about that wants to participate in the upcoming auction, or they're new to the PWCC platform, or they're hesitant to bid because maybe they realize that, hey, if I don't pay for this, I can't bid on anything in the future. Mm-hmm. So maybe someone who may be more hesitant to sort of take that broad stroke that we may have before on eBay.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, if you're not going to pay, don't bid. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
But really, the software's new. The way it's closing is new. So get educated, get in there, read how it works. We're going to have tutorials on it. So watch those tutorials on how it works, be prepared for that closing night. So you're not surprised, right? Get those high bids in early, do all those things that you should do to prepare. Don't procrastinate, I guess, is the best advice I can give you.
Yeah. I think my one request, and maybe you guys have fixed this or it's in the works, is when it comes to search terms.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times on eBay, you get real sort of special with the terms. So I'll give a quick example. So a lot of times people put Charizard in their listings or first edition in their listings for everything. So I might go through and search Pokemon, et cetera, then I'll put minus, first,
Mm-hmm.
1 ST. And then I don't see anything first edition if I'm looking for just a limited, or minus Charizard. I don't see anything Charizard. Are you guys looking to do advanced search terms or something along those lines?
That's a great question. I am not a dev guy, so I from a search term perspective, actually, when we get off this, if you could send me an email on that, I'll get it to my guys. Because look, this is the beauty of it too, is we're still building and tweaking. I mean, we changed some things while it was live in the last few days to make it what we thought was better based on suggestions that we got. So we want this to be the best platform. we've heard the frustrations with people with buying on eBay, with selling on eBay, and we've heard all those things. And so we want to create the best platform we can for all those people that are frustrated with eBay. Come on over to us, tell us what you like, what you don't like, and let us help tweak it to the best platform in the market.
That's awesome. So anyone who's still listening at minute 45, 48 here, if you have any advice for PWCC or any recommendations, send those over to the customer service team or myself. I'll send them over as well.
Or email. You can email me directly. It's just my first name, Jesse, Jesse, at PWCCmarketplace.com. You know, I'm on our leadership team. I'm one of the ones that makes the decisions for the company. So I can get those over into the right hands, and we can make it happen.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave you with one sort of lasting question here, sort of open-ended. And if you think about, you know, this auction, it's huge. Pokemon's 8,000 cars. The whole auction is much, much larger. You have a fixed price marketplace that's still going on. You have the premier marketplace, which is that high-end marketplace we didn't necessarily touch on here. But if you think about all this stuff that's going on, and that, you know, you have the folks in the October monthly auction as well, what would make this October monthly auction a success? Like how would you define this, either via metrics or via auction as a whole? Is what would tell you this has been a successful auction?
Feedback we get from our clients, you know, solid sales across the board, the platform not crashing, right?
Seriously.
I mean, well, anybody that has any experience in the dev world, you know, those are always the fears in the back of your mind, right? Like, oh God, you know, God forbid something happens. But we've gone through so much process to ensure that doesn't happen. But look, like I said, it's our first one. There's probably going to be some bumps and bruises, but you know, we need to keep improving and keep tweaking it to make it better. So I'm really, really excited to see how it all shakes out. And I'll be a nervous wreck probably for about a week while all this stuff's closing.
Maybe I'll send you guys beer instead of pizza. How about that?
Yeah, please. I'm a big wine guy, so send all the wine.
San Francisco, I can definitely see that. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So is there sort of alternative if the site were to crash? Do you guys just push it back a day, or so what's the game plan there?
Well, we've got our whole dev team is, I mean, they're on staff. They're ready to rock if something were to happen. My assumption is if something happened to be back up and running very quickly. Like I said, it's our own platform. We're going to be able to manage everything. So, you know, if God forbid something like that happened, I would imagine this can be up in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. I think some of us are used to just closing our laptops for the night, and sort of waiting a little bit. But it sounds like it'll be right back up and running. So, Jesse, I have to say it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I've seen some of your other podcasts. I absolutely love what you guys do as PWCC. I have not been paid or compensated or anything for this. I'm doing this purely because I love every sort of service that you guys do. I've been a participant for you guys for quite some time, and I think you guys are so pro collector, and I'm everything that you can be pro collector, pro hobby first. And I think you guys take a lot of heat you maybe shouldn't take. And I'm really glad that you came on here and sort of talked to all those items, because I truly love everything you do. You guys have helped me quite a bit. And I think you guys propel the hobby forward in a way that thinks about the collector before you maybe necessarily think about what the short-term monetary piece is. So nothing but good things to say about you. I really appreciate you joining today. And any sort of last words or any sort of comments here you'd like to end with?
No, I mean, first of all, thanks so much for having me. It's been a great conversation. I love that you came and, you're showing your face now for the first time with me. I feel honored. But no, I would say just go to the auction, check it out, pwccmarketplace.com. We got a lot of good stuff on there. So go get some bids in and give us your feedback.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go and end the recording now. And if you have any questions, reach out to Jesse at pwccmarketplace.com or add a comment. We'll go through and look through them. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.